Child, listen deeply. This is the final call before the sun changes course. I say this not to sow fear, but to awaken the flame set within you from the beginning. If you take this lightly, the treasures prepared for you may close in an instant. The Most High has spoken. Do not treat this as a jest, for whoever ignores this call will watch life pass by in regret. Yet, beloved child, do not tremble, for you do not fight to win, you fight from victory. The scroll has been opened, and in my hand your flame is being kindled, rousing even the hosts that have slept. Hear me well, chosen soul, this moment is no accident but the hour of sacred activation. A seal has been set in the depths of you, the seal of light, the seal of kingship, the seal of triumph untouched by darkness. As the scroll is opened, your name resounds among multitudes of attendants, and the fire within you begins to blaze like lightning that awakens the long night. This is the hour when God calls you to arise, no longer hidden, no longer waiting, but to stand and roar as the bearer of heaven's seal. Do you feel it? A pulse is rising in your spirit, stronger than fear, brighter than doubt. It is the cadence of the heavenly host, the echo of an ancient covenant awakened in the present. Every breath you draw, every step you take, carries the Father's promise. I have set my seal upon you, and no one can erase it. When you know this, no power can force you to retreat, for the seal of light in you is the pledge of authority before which darkness shudders and dissolves. I see in you a small ember wrapped in glory. You think yourself weak, yet you bear the strength of thousands of battalions. Child, when you bow your head to pray, the heavens move. When you open your mouth in worship, the unseen realm answers. And when you read the word, the flame within is fed, becoming a torch that guides wandering souls. Therefore, do not let that fire fade. Sustain it with faith, with the breath of supplication, with daily fidelity. And then you will understand that your name is not merely a sound, but a secret engraved upon the heart of God. He calls you not by the names of the world, but by the sacred name inscribed in the book of life. When you answer, the heavens tremble, for your identity is restored, and the fire within you becomes a signal of awakening to the nations. That is when you become the trumpet of light, the herald of a new season, the one sent to proclaim heaven's victory in this world. No one can say with precision when that moment arrives. We only know your heart has sensed it. Something has been sealed and set alight. A holy current flows through your soul, and in that light you begin to perceive you bear a mark the world cannot see. A power is rising, quiet yet mighty, ready to break beyond every limit. And there, the journey of unveiling the sacred seal begins. There is one thing I want you to know from the start: you are not a soul adrift upon the stream of life, but a bearer of heaven's mark. Before the first light touched creation, your name was written in the book of life. The sacred seal was placed upon you as the signet of everlasting love, a seal brighter than every star which no power can remove. As you walk through the world, that seal is not merely a symbol, it is the pledge of authority that makes darkness bow. Therefore, do not measure yourself by frailty or by what is earthly. See with the eyes of the soul, for I, Michael, the Archangel, have set heaven's seal of light upon you. I have seen many pass through this world without recognizing the mark they bear. They think themselves dust in the desert, yet they are the chosen flame to light the way. As in the book of Revelation it is spoken, "Do not harm the earth or the sea or the trees until we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads." Revelation 7:3. You see, even in the final hour, God does not forget to impress His seal upon those who are His. That seal is a declaration that you belong to heaven, guarded, protected, and led by an unfading light. Child, I want to tell you something few remember. Long ago, amid a fierce battle in the wilderness, there was a woman named Rahab in Jericho. She did not belong to the chosen people, yet in a moment of fear she placed her trust in the God of Israel. And I beheld at that very moment the crimson sign hung upon her door became an emblem that shielded her whole household from destruction. So too the seal upon your soul is an unseen scarlet thread that keeps the powers of darkness from laying a hand on you. It proclaims, "This soul belongs to the light." When you pass through trials, do not think yourself alone. At every step my heavenly host walks with you, not to spare you every hardship, but to teach you to recognize the strength engraved upon your heart. That seal is not only upon the brow, it lies deep within your spirit where nothing can be stolen. When you pray, that seal shines like incense rising to heaven. When you worship, it becomes a testimony in the unseen realm. This one belongs to the Lord God. And remember, beloved, the sacred seal is not for display but for activation. When you become aware that you bear the seal of light, you begin to act as one of the light. Your words carry the power to heal. Your gaze holds the gleam of mercy. Your footsteps imprint the tracks of the angelic host. Every small deed done in faith rekindles life in others. I, Michael, the Archangel, do not take my eyes off you, for that seal binds you to the armies of heaven. There will be times you feel cut off from all that is familiar, as though your life were changing seasons. Do not be afraid. That is the moment when the seal within you is being activated more strongly than ever. When a warrior is called out from the old ranks, it is because he would set you in a new position, the station of the flame bearer. Let the light within you be released. Do not shrink back for doubt or for fear of insufficiency. For in the very moment you believe the host's answer, and all the heavens rejoice because a soul has remembered who it truly is. I know there are times you grow weary, but do not forget your strength does not come from striving. It comes from the seal that has been set. That seal is the breath of heaven within you, unfading, inexhaustible. Lift up your head, bearer of heaven's mark. The light you shine is the testimony that God lives and moves among humankind. Then in that quiet instant I see the light within you begin to stir like a small ember seeking breath to surge into flame. It quivers, pleading to be fed, to be tended with drops of prayer and words of praise. It is as though once the seal is set, the very fire is whispering for life, for growth, for the right to burn. And there, a new chapter of your story begins. Nothing is more precious than the flame awakened in the soul that has been sealed. Yet, child, the fire is not given merely to glow, it must be guarded, tended, nourished by faith and steadfastness. I, Michael the Archangel, behold in you a beautiful light, fragile yet full of promise. It does not need noise, it needs only the breath of heaven to burn steady and bright. Prayer is the breath that keeps the fire. Worship is the heartbeat that prevents it from going out. And the Word of God is the living coal that sustains the eternal flame. Each time you bow to ask, the unseen realm opens. Each time you sing praise the heavens tremble. Each time you read the word my hosts lean in, for that is when your soul moves in rhythm with heaven. Remember the lamp of the righteous will shine forever. Proverbs 1:3-9 For this fire does not burn by human strength but by the love that never fails. Imagine long ago within the ancient holy temple in the midst of Israel there burned a flame kindled by the very hand of the Lord. It leapt up when the first offering was laid upon the altar, and from that day God declared, "The fire shall be kept burning on the altar continually, it must not go out." Leviticus 6:1-3. From then on the priests kept night watch in turn, adding wood and guarding the flame, for they understood that if the fire went out it signaled a people's heart grown cold. My child, within you there is an altar like that. And your charge is not to keep a flame for appearance's sake, but to let that fire become the pulse between you and heaven. Do not think the fire is mere symbol. It is the life breath of the Holy Spirit. When you pray in truth, I see the flame rise like a pillar of light. When you praise, I see it spread through the room, touching weary souls around you. When you read the word, I see each spark take wing, ascending as testimony. And when you love, forgive, and choose light instead of resentment, I see the fire blaze twice as bright. Do you know this? Every act that springs from faith is oil poured upon the lamp. Yet the fire is as delicate as breath. It wanes when you let your mind sink into sadness or indifference. It dwindles when you stop speaking with God and let your heart be filled with the world's noise. Do not let this be, my child. When you feel the chill, do not scold yourself. Do not fear, simply step into stillness, close your eyes, and say, Lord, breathe upon the fire within me. Then I and my hosts will draw near, shielding you and stirring a holy warmth until the flame burns again. My child, offer him the smallest moments of your day, a word of thanks, a deed of love, a word of encouragement for someone. Each of these is a small stick of wood, and when given with a true heart, it is enough to keep the fire steady through the longest night. Do not fear that the fire will be spent. The fire of God is never spent. The more you pour out, the more you are filled. The more you share the light, the more you are clothed in light. And then when the flame grows pure, when it burns even and gentle like the breath of dawn, you will hear something wondrous, a voice so soft it seems to call your name out of the void. Not the name the world bestowed, but your true name, the name God inscribed in the book of life from before all things. Then you will understand the fire is not only to shine outward but to illumine the true identity of the soul. And in that moment you will know the light within you is heaven's answer to your very name. There are things in the realm of the spirit that cannot be spoken by words, only heard by the heart. One of these is your true name. My child, in the moment the flame within you is tended and grows bright, you begin to hear a different sound, not sounding outward but resonating within. It is the whisper of the Creator calling you by a title known to only God and your soul. That name is not the set of letters given you at birth, but a sacred designation written from the beginning, where the first light touched the darkness and divided it. When the Creator breathed into the first human, He also gave to every soul a unique resonance, a voice heaven alone can hear. That is your sound, your true self, the deepest identity no world can name. In Revelation it is written, I will give the one who conquers a white stone, and on the stone a new name written which no one knows except the one who receives it. Revelation 2:17. Do you see? Even in eternity the Lord keeps this intimate thing a name like an everlasting word of love. That name is not merely a sound, it is a promise that you are known, you are loved, you belong. I, Michael the Archangel, have watched many souls pass through life never knowing who they truly are. They wear many names, many roles, many labels of the world, yet deep within they still hear a summons that has never gone silent. It is not hurried, not loud, yet it makes the heart tremble. When you are quiet long enough, when you let the fire within you shine, you will hear it, light as breath yet strong enough to change your whole life. Do you remember Jacob? That night he wrestled with the angel by the ford of Jabbok. All through the night he struggled, refusing to let go until the blessing was given, and the angel said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." Genesis 3:2-8. Do you see, a new name does more than change a sound, it changes a destiny. When Jacob's name was changed, he did not become someone else, he became the one God had seen from the beginning. So too, when you hear your true name, you begin to walk in the identity heaven ordained for you. That name is not written on paper, not confined to human speech, but engraved in light within the soul. When I look upon you, I do not see failures or frailty, I see the light that bears your name. For, whenever God calls a person by name, he does not merely summon them, he awakens them. When he called Abraham, the promise rose to life. When he called Samuel, a prophet was born. When he called Mary, salvation's story began. And when he calls your name, you will feel the heavens move within you, for your soul has been unlocked. My child, do not seek your name in the words of others. Do not let the world define you by your past or by your faults. Let God define you by His love. When you enter the silence of prayer, when you worship with all your heart, you will hear that name not ringing in your ears but sounding in your heart. And when you answer, every invisible chain will fall away. I, Michael, the Archangel, tell you this. Each soul is given a name like a musical note in heaven's great symphony. When you live true to that name, you keep time with the rhythm of light. When you step away from your true identity, the world falls out of tune. Therefore, return to that singular call, for only then will you truly know how profoundly you are loved. And when you begin to hear that call clearly, the light within you will spread, not a mere ember any longer but a clarion trumpet. A movement will begin not only within you but among the community around you. As a spark sets 1,000 torches ablaze, you will become the trumpet of revival, heralding the arrival of a new season. There are moments in history when heaven no longer whispers, he blows the trumpet. Then those souls who have been awakened stand up and become the sound of heaven upon the earth. My child, I speak this with the fullness of my radiance. You are that trumpet. Not the sound of war, but the sound of awakening. Not the sound of fear, but the sound of revival and hope. You were fashioned not only to bear the fire, but to let that fire become proclamation. The fire in you is not only for warmth but for transmission. When flame meets faith, it becomes a voice. And when that voice goes forth in power, even places of death rise to life. You are the bearer of heaven's summons, the breath of renewal, the resonance this world needs to hear. In the wilderness of old, when Israel was preparing to march, God spoke to Moses, "Make 2 trumpets of silver to summon the congregation and to set the camps in motion." Numbers 1:0-2. Each trumpet call had its meaning. When it sounded, the people knew the hour for action had come. And when the second trumpet sounded, the whole camp stirred and advanced. So it is with your trumpet. It is not mere sound but a signal of sacred movement. When you speak love, a soul is stirred. When you proclaim truth, a land awakens. When you intercede for another, the gates of heaven open. I, Michael, the Archangel, see many warriors of light remain silent, fearing their voice is too small. But my child, God does not require volume, he desires timbre. Your trumpet carries a frequency, my hosts, and I can hear a sound no human ear can truly register yet, which makes the heavens quake. You need only let your heart be one with him, and he himself will breathe through you like the breath of resurrection that split the stone. Do you remember Joshua when Israel walked around Jericho for 7 days? They did nothing but sound the trumpets and keep holy silence. Not sword, not fire, not human strength, but the sound of faith brought the walls down. When the trumpets pealed, it was more than music, it was the proclamation, the Lord is at work among us. And today that trumpet is entrusted to you to declare life in barren places, to bring movement where souls seemed extinguished. Remember this. My child, revival does not begin in the square, but in a heart that obeys. When you let God breathe through you, your very life becomes heaven's wave of sound. Every word, every act of love, every steadfast step becomes a trumpet call announcing, the light is coming. Do not wait for perfection to speak, open your mouth in faith, and that sound will travel farther than you imagine. There will be hours when your trumpet feels small amid the world's clamor. But my child, hear me, your sound issues from seal, not from strength. Therefore even a single prayer, a single tear, a single gesture of love bears an eternal resonance. It is a resonance. My hosts and I can hear, and we will make harmony with you. When you pour your heart out to heaven, it becomes the symphony of revival. I see within you a sound that has never gone silent, only waiting to be awakened. And when it rises, those around you will hear within themselves its answering echo. They will stand, they will rediscover the light, and an entire community will begin to turn. That is true revival, not an event but the transmission of light from one soul to another. And in that light, when the trumpet within you peals afar, you will understand this is no longer a summons meant for you alone, but sending a commission. The fire has been kindled, the trumpet has sounded, and now you must go. No more silence, no more hesitation. You must roar, proclaiming the light to the ends of the earth. Child, when the trumpet has sounded, the flame has flared, and your identity has been stirred awake, then heaven no longer says, wait, but declares, go, for one who has been awakened cannot remain still. One who bears a seal cannot hide the light. Now I, Archangel Michael, come to say to you, the time has come for you to roar. Not the roar of fury but the roar of light, not the voice of blind striving but the confession of one who knows to whom he belongs. When a soul is sent, the cosmos alters its course. With every step you set upon the ground, 1,000 angelic hosts march beside you. You think you are speaking to one person, but in truth you are speaking into the open air, and that sound rattles doors yet unopened. Every word you utter in faith becomes a ray that pierces the clouds and binds earth to heaven. This is what unfolds when a sealed bearer is commissioned. Remember Isaiah the young prophet in the temple veiled with incense. When he beheld the glory of the Lord covering all, he bowed and cried, "Woe is me!" Yet in that very moment, an angel touched a live coal to his lips and said, "Your guilt is taken away." Then God asked, "Whom shall I send and who will go for us?" Isaiah answered, "Here am I, send me." Isaiah 6:8, and thus a trembling man became a messenger who shook a nation. Child, when the flame touches your lips and your identity is restored, the roar will arise of itself from gratitude and love. I see in you the same breath. A power is rising not from the body but from the soul, what cannot be confined. Heaven is waiting for your voice, for when you open your mouth the whole realm of light answers in unison. When you proclaim life in a barren place, the first blossom breaks forth. When you say I believe, the very heavens begin to move. Therefore do not let silence imprison your testimony. You were not made to stand in the shade, you were made to become a flame in the night. I, Archangel Michael, do not speak to you of what is easy but of what is eternal. This world needs you, not because you are flawless but because the light within you is true. There are souls waiting only for a word from you to live again. There are doors shut tight that await your roar to swing wide. And there are chains that will fall only when you rise. Lift your head and declare, I belong to the light. When you roar, do not fear losing yourself in this world. Your voice will not be lost, it will fly forth. Touch the weary of heart and I will carry it farther than you imagine. Every declaration you make in truth bears the power of resurrection, for it is sent from one who bears heaven's seal. Roar as the Lion of Judah, yet with a humble heart. Speak with fire, yet burn with kindness. Radiate the light, yet stand firm in love. You may ask, where do I begin? Begin right where you stand. Tell those beside you that they are loved. Lift the fallen, rekindle faith in the hopeless. This is how you carry the fire everywhere. Revival does not begin with a crowd but with a heart made ready. And today that heart is yours. Child, I see around you a light spreading like a sea of flame. Not a fire that devours, but the fire of the Holy Spirit, fire that heals, restores, and births new life. All heaven rejoices as you rise. For now you are not only a bearer of the seal but a bearer of the commission. You do not merely keep the fire, you have become the fire. Go, child of the light. Roar not out of anger but out of joy. Roar not in defiance, but in triumph. For the scroll has been opened, the word has been proclaimed, and heaven has called you by name. Now is the hour for the world to hear that sound, the voice of one who has been sent, the voice of a soul awakened, the voice of one who carries the flame of heaven. And as you walk, I, Archangel Michael, will go before you, fight for you, shield you, and cry out with you. For when your roar and mine become one, darkness dissolves and the light of resurrection spreads over the earth. Child of the light, I have spoken, and now heaven and earth have heard. The flame within you is no longer a seedling but has become a torch. Your resonance is no longer a trembling murmur, but the trumpet of faith. Your steps no longer move alone, for every beat of your stride now syncs with the heartbeat of heaven. I behold you not with eyes of judgment but with the gaze of delight. You have let the word touch your heart, let light pass through your wounds, and let the fire be activated. Child, you have come far from seeker to one who is sent. And now the glory of God shines upon you. But remember, revival does not end in this moment, it begins from where you stand. As long as you breathe, you remain a witness to the light. Every time you forgive, a patch of the world's soul is healed. Every word you speak in love plants a seed of life. Therefore do not fear smallness, for in God's hands the smallest thing bears immeasurable power. I, Archangel Michael, with the hosts of light still surround you. When you step out I go before you, when you fall I lift you, when you grow faint I breathe fire into you again. There is not a moment you are abandoned to the dark. Even when you feel silence it is not absence but the waiting from which glory breaks forth. Rise each day with a grateful heart. Begin your morning as a prayer and end your day as a hymn of praise. When you live thus the universe answers. What happens around you is no longer random but becomes the language of heaven written for you alone. Do not fear the future. For the future is no longer a region of fog but a field of light awaiting your steps. Every trial is not to weaken you but to advance the flame within. When you pass through fire, it does not consume, it refines. When you face the wind it does not snuff out, it spreads the blaze. All that once frightened you now becomes fuel for His glory. And when you feel alone remember, I am near. Call to me, and I will come. Say Archangel Michael lead me in the light, and in that very instant 1,000 wings of fire will descend around you. Not to carry you away but to remind you you have never been lost. You are no longer merely a hearer, you are the one called. No longer merely a petitioner, you are the one who bears the answer. No longer a small light, you are a torch for your time. Go then carrying joy, carrying love, carrying the fire of life. Illuminate the places you enter, strengthen the ones you meet, sow revival wherever you pass. For when you live in the light you leave no room for darkness. I, Archangel Michael, bless you. I set my wing upon your soul and I proclaim the fire within you shall not be quenched. The strength within you shall not fade, and the peace of heaven shall cover you always like armor of light. Now, child, let your voice resound. Not the cry of battle, but the cry of love victorious. Go in peace and carry the flame. For the scroll has been opened and so has your destiny. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and turn on notifications to walk with Archangel Michael and spread the light of God each day.